India, home to over 1.4 billion people, the fifth largest economy, a rising defense power and a technological engine, is no longer a silent player on the global stage. Under the continued leadership of Narendra Modi, now in his third term, India has launched a bold new campaign to become a superpower by 2047, the centenary of its independence. But behind the headlines and speeches lies a more complex reality. Can India rise without falling apart internally? Can it lead the world while battling on its borders and struggling with neighbors? Can Modi's strategy transform India or expose its deepest weaknesses? This is India's most ambitious moment, but also its most fragile. Modi's third term isn't just a continuation, it's a strategic escalation. Despite a reduced majority, Modi retains firm control over policy, diplomacy and narrative. Viksit Bharat by 2047, a developed India, strategic autonomy, no permanent alliances, leadership of the global south, giving voice to developing nations, Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. Modi has centralized power, but now the mission isn't just to govern India, it's to position India at the center of global affairs. So, India stays in the Quad with the United States, Japan and Australia, but at the same time it still imports arms and oil from Russia. It refuses to condemn Russia in United Nations votes and builds defense links with Israel, France and the United Arab Emirates. India holds joint drills with the US Navy, while also attending the Shanghai Cooperation Organization alongside China and Russia. The country calls this approach strategic autonomy. But critics warn that India might be playing too many sides here, risking trust on all fronts. India is more and more being seen as the voice of post-colonial, non-aligned nations. It has provided free vaccines to over 70 countries, rebuilt ties across Africa, and helped build digital infrastructure. Still, India's growing dominance isn't always welcomed everywhere. There are India out campaigns in the Maldives and Bangladesh, Nepal has accused India of interference, and Sri Lanka is trying to balance its relations between India and China. So, while India seeks leadership, it also risks being seen as a new regional hegemon, which is, honestly, a tricky line to walk. India is now the world's fastest growing major economy, and it's projected to surpass Germany and Japan by the year 2030. Foreign firms like Apple, Tesla and Foxconn are shifting their focus away from China and moving toward India. But here's where the friction comes in. Manufacturing still makes up just 17% of the country's GDP. There are skill shortages, poor logistics, red tape, and issues with land acquisition. Urban youth unemployment is over 45%, and the income gap between urban and rural areas keeps widening. So if India wants to become the world's next industrial hub, it's going to need more than just catchy slogans. It needs infrastructure, labor reform, and a complete overhaul in education, fast. ISRO's Chandrayaan-3 landed near the lunar South Pole, a first for any nation. India now has a working satellite navigation system, NavIC, and is planning for a manned space mission called Gaganyaan. With Aadhaar and UPI combined, India offers a seamless digital identity and payment system. This model is, even being exported to Africa and Southeast Asia. At the same time, India is building its own AI tools, quantum labs, and cyber defense units. The country's technological strength has really become its soft power on the global stage. However, rising concerns about data privacy and accusations of digital surveillance could, weaken international confidence. So India spends about $76 billion on defense, making it the third largest spender globally. There's this real push toward Make in India for defense, with homegrown projects like Tejas jets, Akash missiles, drones and submarines. Even the BrahMos missile has been exported to the Philippines. But honestly, some cracks are showing. The military still lacks a joint theater command structure, and that long border standoff with China is still unresolved. Back in 2020, the Galwan clash killed 20 Indian soldiers, and China really hasn't backed down since. The Pakistan border keeps flaring up too. The latest Pahalgam attack led to tit-for-tat strikes. India wants to defend its borders and oceans, no doubt. But facing this two-front threat from China and Pakistan, it really needs a military that's way more agile and unified than it is right now. Modi's rule, is marked by economic modernization, but also by a rise in authoritarianism. The CAA and NRC triggered mass protests and have been criticized as discriminatory against Muslims. The abrogation of Article 370 brought Kashmir under central control, but it came at the cost of local autonomy. There's also the Manipur ethnic conflict, a tragic rise in farmer suicides, and growing media suppression. Press freedom has actually dropped to 161st globally, according to Reporters Without Borders. India also has the highest number of internet shutdowns in the world. Critics are being jailed under sedition laws and the UAPA. So the question really is, can a divided democracy be a superpower? Internal unity may just be India's most urgent battleground. The Canada-India diplomatic crisis is a big deal. Prime Minister Trudeau accused Indian agents of murder on Canadian soil. The US has voiced concern over religious freedom and the targeting of opposition. Meanwhile, China is building new railroads through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir with Pakistan, despite India's objections. India's non-alignment, which was once a strength, is now increasingly seen as non-committal. BRICS, for example, is fragmented. The Quad is cautious. G20 unity is, well, mostly cosmetic. Modi's global game is ambitious for sure, but more and more the world is watching with suspicion, not admiration. India is rising. That's undeniable. Its demographic, economic and technological momentum are really powerful engines. But the path to superpower status isn't guaranteed. India must heal internal divisions, reform its institutions, unify military command, balance diplomacy with credibility, and most importantly, maintain a moral compass amid all this power politics. The world doesn't just need a powerful India, it needs a just, stable and visionary India. And honestly, that will be Modi 3.0's ultimate test.